The famed UFC commentator Joe Rogan has got over 70 episodes of his podcast deleted on Spotify due to a recent controversy that has got the media and public talking. Is this the end of the Joe Rogan Experience on Spotify? Welcome to today's video. In this video, I will be discussing the Joe Rogan Spotify controversy and what the public and top celebrities are saying. Neil Young, among others, expressed his displeasure by pulling his music from the platform if Spotify didn't remove the Joe Rogan Experience from its platform. It's that serious. Watch this video through to the end to hear the whole gist about the Spotify Joe Rogan saga and what the reactions of the MMA and UFC fighters are. There are also other MMA news you'll find amusing as well, so stay tuned. Joe Rogan headlines have extended far past the MMA circle in recent weeks, with the UFC commentator, comedian, and popular podcast host finding himself in the midst of multiple controversies. The controversy started when Joe Rogan hosted virologist Dr. Robert Malone on the Joe Rogan Experience, who espoused many false beliefs, including the claim that the efficacy of vaccines is due to mass formation psychosis. Over 270 doctors sent an open letter to Spotify over the episode, referring to the Joe Rogan Experience as a menace to public health. This caused an uproar across the media, which included Neil Young announcing to pull his music from Spotify. Neil Young's announcement on January 24th that he wanted his music off the streaming service Spotify because of the Joe Rogan's podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience, continues to have a ripple effect as some other celebrities have decided to follow the lead. Last week, it seemed like the drama surrounding Joe Rogan and Spotify was beginning to slow down, with the controversial podcast host issuing an apology through Instagram, followed by the streaming platform instituting new content advisory measures around episodes that touched on the pandemic disease. But over the weekend, a video of Rogan using the N-word in many episodes of his podcast circulated across social media, prompting new responses from both podcaster and his publisher.
Saying the word
you've already said Nick. He is just like Nick. Saying Nick's calling you a Nick. Like this boy that he's a Nick and starts calling him Nick. Nick. There should be a word like Nick.
The clip, which features roughly 24 instances of Rogan using the N-word, prompted him to post a 5-minute apology video on Instagram.
I'm making this video to talk about the most regretful and shameful thing that I've ever had to talk about publicly. There's a video that's out that's a compilation of me saying the N-word. It's a video that's made of clips taken out of context of me of 12 years of conversations on my podcast.
The broad uproar over the video compilation led to further action from Spotify. Without advance notice, 70 episodes of the Joe Rogan Experience were quietly removed from Spotify, none of which seemed to have anything to do with the pandemic disease's misinformation that initially got him into hot water. Spotify CEO Daniel Ek later clarified that it was Rogan and his team who asked to have certain episodes taken off the streaming platform. In response to each controversy, Rogan posted a video explaining himself and saying what he will do to improve himself in the future. For conversations regarding the pandemic, Rogan vowed to book a more wide-ranging guest list. For the racial slurs used in past episodes of his show, Rogan apologized, though said his words were taken out of context. Spotify CEO Daniel Ek released a statement Monday that said the company will not be silencing Rogan. Ek also announced Spotify will commit $100 million toward development of content from marginalized groups. In the wake of discussions pertaining to Rogan and Spotify, many members of the UFC and MMA community have come out in support of Joe Rogan amid his racial controversy. While many have encouraged cancel Joe Rogan, several UFC fighters have come out in support of the UFC mainstay. Some of the reactions among many others are: Ben Askren in his tweet said, "If they can cancel Joe, they can cancel anyone. Time to stand up, people." Terrence McKinney also said, "I don't feel Joe Rogan is racist, and I don't need white people telling me what he says is supposed to offend me." Andreas Hill came out a bit critical by tweeting, "This Joe Rogan situation is fascinating to me. It all bothers me. You can defend his use of the N-word all you want, but there is absolutely no reasonable defense for that disgusting Planet of the Apes bit." Jake Shields supported Joe Rogan by saying, "Not a single person believes Joe Rogan is a racist." Tim Kennedy also tweeted, "It's weird that you have to make a proclamation that you stand with a friend that asks questions and doesn't accept the status quo. The only reason I have Spotify is because Joe Rogan is on it." Josh Thompson wasn't silent on the matter either, as he tweeted that this world and nation are in a strange place right now, and the people who bring dialogue and seek of the truth are not our enemies. Joe Rogan is a friend with a huge heart for everyone. Brendan Schaub feels the recent allegations of racism brought against Joe Rogan are a calculated attack by his naysayers. In a recently shared video on his YouTube channel, the former UFC fighter said, "It's been a calculated attack on Joe right now, and it's been boiling and it's boiled up to February, and they decided to pull the race card in February. That stuff they said has been out forever. Everyone's aware of it. That stuff has been out forever. You don't think when we signed with Spotify, people are aware of this stuff?" What is your opinion about this Joe Rogan Spotify saga? Are you in his support, or you go with the cancel Joe Rogan tag? I want to know in the comment section right below. Alexander Volkanovski questions Max Holloway's UFC 273 backup offer. He wasn't injured, he says. Alexander Volkanovski calls foul on Max Holloway, who serves as a backup for the UFC 273 title battle. Volkanovski and Holloway were originally reserved for the March UFC 272 trilogy battle, but Blessed suffered a private injury that put him out of the competition. The promotion then changed plans and booked Chan Sung Jung as a replacement for the new date at UFC 273 on April 9th in Jacksonville, Florida. However, only a few weeks later, the Holloway team announced that Max would be allowed to continue training and would actually fight on the UFC 273 date if someone dropped out of the fight. Volkanovski seemed to feel quite suspicious overall, and he asked a few questions on Twitter about the legitimacy of Holloway's injury and the timeline of the contest, saying he was never injured. I find this quite funny actually, but do you think Volkanovski could be right? Comment below. UFC veteran, TUF finalist Diego Lima announces retirement from MMA. Diego Lima, the two-time finalist in the history of Ultimate Fighter, has retired from MMA. Lima recently announced that he is no longer actively competing. He issued a statement on Instagram stating that the Brazilian should have fought Miguel Beza at the UFC Fight Night on April 16th. Lima has retired from the sport with 4 knockout wins and 4 submission wins. Israel Adesanya sympathizes with Robert Whittaker's reconstruction, but will take him back to a dark place at UFC 271. UFC middleweight champion Israel Adesanya openly hates Robert Whittaker, but a piece of him could relate to Whittaker. Prior to the rematch at UFC 271, Adesanya said he would be lying if he told reporters that Whittaker hadn't improved since he first met in October 2019. Most of Whittaker's reinvention was his attitude and way of thinking, what Adesanya got. As someone who has experienced losses, Adesanya is aware of rebuilding and what it means. Adesanya said the statement he made when he went to the dark place after he was last beaten by Adesanya is something he could relate to. He said he understood and sympathized when a person is discouraged and loses their motivation to keep going. Adesanya said he acknowledged the fact that Whittaker is now a better man and a better fighter, but he will continue to bring him back to the dark place once again. What can you say about this fight? Adesanya seems so confident that this is a win for him. Israel Adesanya says he was never at risk during the battle with Jan Blachowicz. Israel Adesanya is aware that he failed against Jan Blachowicz, however says by no means did he ever become threatened while inside the octagon. Middleweight champion Adesanya failed in his attempt to become a 2-division champion while losing by unanimous decision to then light heavyweight title holder Blachowicz at UFC 259. It became his first professional loss, but other than agreeing with the judge's decision, Adesanya thinks he had the greater impactful moments. Where in that fight did I clearly get hurt? Adesanya said while doing an interview with ESPN. He stated by no means did he ever feel in danger during the match. Jan was in danger when I rocked him. He even admitted it and he felt my power, he stated. Adesanya's remarks stemmed from Robert Whittaker's claim that Blachowicz said the blueprint to defeat him. But the last style bender doesn't believe Whittaker is capable of putting together a similar game plan when the pair rematches Saturday at UFC 271. I'm sure you enjoyed this video, so do well to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you can be notified when more content like this one are uploaded.